Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Closet Gamer. So normally on our episodes, we always are discussing some of like the more, I guess you'd say like complex, like big strategy-based games. Just really into the board gaming world. But I feel like a lot of like classic card games really fall by the wayside, even though there's a lot of strategies and complexities to them. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about Canasta. Okay, Canasta is played with a regular deck of playing cards. I got bicycle playing cards. These are actually tailored to be Canasta decks, but you can do it with a regular deck of cards, so don't let that freak you out. You can just get a regular deck of cards and the game works fine. So I'll show you the cards. What makes them a Canasta deck is that they have point values written on the cards themselves, as opposed to if you just had a regular deck of cards, you just have to know that all the lower numbered cards are only worth 5 points. The higher numbered cards and face value cards are 10 points. Aces are 20. The jokers, you keep them in the game. They're wild and they're worth 50 points. The twos, they're also wild and they're worth 20 points. And then the red and black threes have kind of special uses, which I'll explain when we do a gameplay setup and everything. But they're worth 100 and 5 points each. So yeah, we'll show you how the game works and we'll get this set up. To set up a Canasta, how you do it is you deal out 11 cards to each player. Now, Canasta is typically a 4-player game. You sit across from your partner, so me and my cameraman are a partner, and these two empty chairs are partners with each other. There are variations to play with 2, 5, 3, and 6 players, but we're going through the main proper game of 4 players. How the game works is it's all about creating melds, and what a meld is it's 3 or more of a type of card. So for instance 3 queens here, and you'd play them down, and then you and your partner will continue to add to these melds until you can create a canasta, and a canasta is 7 or more of that type of card. Once you've created a canasta, you want to try and get out, like play all your cards and get rid of them, and after you've done that, you'd tally up everybody's points, and first team to get to 5,000 point wins the game. Now it's usually done over a series of rounds. You're not going to get 5,000 points in your first round, but you'll do it over a series of rounds. And yeah, so let's show you how it gets started. Okay, so first things first is if any player has a red 3 in their hand, these cards are special. They'd play them immediately, so I'd put it in front of me, and I'd draw a replacement card for it. Red 3s are kind of unique in that they don't really ever get melded. They're just immediately played, and they can either add to positive points or negative points depending how you play the game. So I'll get into what they do a little later. Now that I officially can start playing, because I don't have any more red 3s in my deck, I can either draw a card from the top of the deck, or I can attempt to meld with the top card of the discard pile here. So I'm going to just draw a regular card from the top of the deck. So I can see here I drew a 9. And now I can start melding. So on your very first meld, before any cards have been played for your team, the total amount of points has to add up to 50 points. So for instance, I have 3 queens here. I can't play this alone because this is not enough points to add up to 50. It's only 30 because they're 10 points each. So what I could do is I could do the 3 queens, the 2 8s here, plus a wild 2, because I always need to make sure at least my melds have 3 cards in them. You can never play just 1 card on its own. So here I got 30 points, 40, 50, 60, 70 points. So that's enough to create a full meld, and we can start the game, get the game rolling here. After I've done my melds, I have to then discard a pile to the discard pile. So I'm going to just discard a 4, and that would be the end of my turn. Okay, so a couple turns have passed. We can see that our opposing players were able to meld a series of jacks. There was a couple instances where nobody could really play anything. They just picked up and then discarded, so the discard pile actually grew a little bit. And now we can see it's the cameraman's turn, and on his turn he can either draw from the draw deck, or he can attempt to meld with the discard pile. Now it's actually a pretty neat thing if you're able to do that. So in this case he can. He has 2 6s, so remember, to complete a meld it always needs to be at least 3. or you could add it to another meld that already exists. So in this case, he has 2 6s. He's going to meld this 6 with it. So because it's successful, he's allowed to collect all these cards into his hand. So he's got quite a few cards there, which are good. He's got 2 more 8s, so we might as well just add these right to our meld here. And the rest will just, oh, and he also got a queen, so we'll put that in here. And you know what, that's probably enough for now. He's got a lot of cards here, so why don't we just discard our card. We'll discard this 4. And that would complete that turn. Okay, it's my turn again, and we can see a few more turns have passed. The other team was able to add some more jacks to their meld of jacks, so it's gotten pretty big now. So I can either draw from the draw pile, or I can try to meld with the discard pile. And I don't have anything that can meld with a 5, so I'll have to just draw a card here. So I got it. So we got a 4, so this is actually really cool. So I can now meld my 8, and this now has 7 cards in it. We got the 2 2s, and then the rest are 8, so that's 7 cards. So this becomes a canasta, so we actually would close this up. We'll leave one of the 2s there, showing that it's actually what's called a mixed canasta, because it has wild cards. If you had all 8s and no wild cards, it would be considered a natural canasta, but I'll get into that a little later. And now I can actually go out, so I have these 3 4s, which I can meld. So I'll do that. And that would finish the round. So we add up all the numbers of the points, so like 5s, 10s, the wild cards are 20s. So in total, adding up all these points, including the red 3s, which are 100, adding them all up, I got 260 points. Now you also get some bonus points. If you have any canastas, they're worth more points. So here's a mixed canasta, which is worth 300 points. And like I said before, if you have all 8s, no wild cards in it, it's considered a natural canasta. That'd be worth 500, but I got a mixed one here, so that's 300 points. And then you also get 100 bonus points if you were the team to go out. So because we went out, so that puts us up to 660. So you'd record these points. The other team would also record how many they got, and you also have to subtract any points that were left in yours and your partner's hands. And once you've done that, you record all the points, and you'd start a new round. So final thoughts on Canasta and what I think everybody else should do about it is obviously it goes back to the classic card games. It's not as pretty as some of these games that I have back here. It's just, you know, regular playing cards. But there's a lot you can do in this game. It's like it's neat. It seems simple, like, oh, you just pick up a card and then discard it. But you can kind of trick your opponents into playing, like, discarding cards that you may actually want to later meld with from the discard pile. So you can get into a lot of neat scenarios, or you can get really greedy, hoping you're gonna, you know, collect all these cards from the discard pile, but then only to have your opponents go out really quick, and now you're stuck with all these negative points in your hand. So there's a lot of decision making, and the fact that you're doing it with a teammate makes it a lot of fun. So I really like Canasta, and I really encourage people to give it a try, because it's, yeah, like I said, it just goes back to classic card games, but it's still a lot of fun. Thanks for watching another episode of The Closet Gamer. Cheers!